Hi, I'm going to walk you through how to take care of the prerequisites for OSD Workspace. All of this information you'll find on our GitHub repository. The documentation is posted in the wiki. So let's get started. Important note about the operating system. This has only been tested and used by Michael and myself on Windows 11 24H2 on AMD 64. So we don't know if it will work on any other operating systems, nor have we done any testing on these operating systems, and there is no planned support for anything other than the latest Windows 11 client. The first thing we'll do is we need to get PowerShell configured. And so what I'll do is I'll open PowerShell here as an administrator. Windows Terminal is fine. I want to set my execution policy first. And now I want to install the NuGet package provider, and I will just click this button to copy. Perfect. And finally, we'll trust the PowerShell gallery if it's not already trusted. Update PowerShell get. Simply copy and paste in the terminal. And finally, package management. You can go ahead and close Windows Terminal PowerShell at this point. And I'll go back to my instructions. The next thing is PowerShell 7. We'll want to install PowerShell 7. We can see that there's a quick setup from PowerShell 5.1. So I'll reopen Windows Terminal. I did close it and PowerShell so that it would start using the latest modules that were just updated. And I'm going to accept the source agreements. Now, I've already done the quick setup, but if you want to see more detailed instructions and what the switches do, that's all been provided in the wiki. I'll install Git for Windows next. I'll simply copy this, and I can open a new session just to make sure everything is initialized. In the wiki, after the quick setup, you'll see links for documentation, latest download, and other information on using Git. Now I'll see here that I've got an error in the script, which hopefully I'll resolve. And this should give me an error as well because Git hasn't been refreshed in this session. Um, I'll simply open a new session and copy this user identity configuration and change it to my information. These are used for commits. So it knows who you are. Great. Just close Windows Terminal at this point. Visual Studio Code is next. You'll see there are some switches. If you want information on what these switches mean, you're free to look at the rest of the information. I'm going to open up Terminal again as administrator. I'll see that now I have PowerShell. This is PowerShell 7.5.1, which I just installed. We'll go ahead and take care of the WinGet installation in PowerShell 7. Now, one thing that I can do is I can go ahead and set a default for Windows Terminal. And I can do that by going to Settings. And the default profile opens Windows PowerShell. I can tell it to open PowerShell, which is PowerShell 7. And I can save these changes and close out of Settings. VS Code should now be installed. We'll check here. And I like to pin this on my taskbar. Let's go back to the wiki. Windows 80K is next. There are there are two links. You will need the Windows PE add-on, which is a second link, and the first link is going to be the 80K setup. I'll simply copy this, and we'll go back to Terminal, and I've opened a new tab, and I can see PowerShell 7.5.1 is in fact the default. Now, the links for 80K are going to be for the version for Windows 11 24H2. So if you're going against our best judgment and installing this on server or a different version of Windows 11 or Windows 10, then this 80K will not work for you. Now I'm just opening up Task Manager to make sure that 80K setup is running. And I can see here it is running it at this time. This is a large download, so it will take a little bit of time to execute. And now I see it's trying to install the WinPE add-on. Again, this is a large download. You can open Task Manager again and see that 80K setup is running. And finally, there is one final command after the setup of ADK. And what this is going to do is creating this directory for x86 will resolve any issues with MDT um, where it's not functioning when viewing the WinPE x86 tab. Again, you'll see that below the quick setup, we do give you this information to help you make a decision on what switches you want or any alternatives for going to the ADK. And here I can see that because I pasted the script, it did not automatically go to the next line. I'll simply press enter and it should be created. Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. I'll simply copy this. And I always like running this in new tabs. And again, because I copy pasted, it won't automatically execute the last line of what it's copied. So I'll just press enter at this point. And that was a very quick installation. Hyper-V is next. If you do want to test out building boot images and validating in Hyper-V, you'll want to make sure that you have Hyper-V enabled. And finally, there's some recommended modules that are needed. POTIPS is required for documentation. So I'll simply come in here to PowerShell 7 and I'll simply install POTIPS, the OSD PowerShell module, and OSD Cloud. Now, OSD Cloud may not be published yet. We will push this out prior to our Workplace Ninja session. The final module that we need, if we haven't installed it yet, is OSD.Workspace. Perfect. And that completes the prerequisites for OSD Workspace.